Black Market News, your worldwide weed price guide. All right. Welcome to Black Market News, the podcast with your worldwide weed price guide and other illegal topics with your host, me, Harvey O. This is episode 12. Thank everybody who's listening, liking, sharing, tuning in. Make sure you share with all your friends, the people in your messenger, wherever you want to share. Just keep it on the down low and tell everyone. It makes no sense, huh? Well, let's just have fun with it. I need to apologize for a few things from last week. And I got to correct some of my info I gave out. First off, I said Tiger Belly was feuding with Hey Babe, the podcast. Bobby Lee and Andrew Santino, their show is called Bad Friends. Not Tiger Belly, that's Bobby's original with Kalila. So, sorry, Rudy. Sorry, Ruby.
You smoke too much sativa.
Sorry, Rudy. And then when, I mentioned the great comedic podcast, I left out a bunch. But one of my favorites is Tim Dillon. You should definitely check him out. It's always a good rant. He even had the wife laughing this week. She liked some of his little videos talking about his Uber driver horror story. It's a small world after all, eh? He does this funny little short videos and characters, just like Yanni's Papas. And I tell you, they're fun there. You check them out. Give them a good look over a 1C. And then subscribe to Black Market News with Harvey O on YouTube also. You can find me on Harvey O Knows on Instagram. So New York this week has finally made some guidelines and continue to finalize the path to legalization for cannabis.
You don't see me making hippie hops about it.
Finally. People say it's about time. They're only allowing 6 plants per adult on the property you own. So anybody in an apartment building, you still won't be allowed. Only 3 are allowed to be mature. So that's pretty much only 3 are allowed on your home unless you have enough room for a flowering room and then a vegetation room. Because no one's going to have all that extra space. So pretty much you're going to be allowed 3 plants. They're going to be taxing everybody 13%. Keep it that lucky 13, I guess, out there in New York. It's going to be giving 9 to the state and 4 to the local governments. They say this will increase the economy and start jobs. But, that's subjective. That's only increasing the economy that they have control and watch over. How much trade is done with their approval. That's the only thing it's going to increase. Those jobs are already out there. They're already, making plenty of money. They made a lot more money when they kept 13% of it, before a gang decided to come in and said they wanted to stronghold the whole industry and take percentage, especially after they talked
herpes
and put everybody down for being in the industry for the past 20, 50 years or so, huh? There's nothing worse, for a weed dealer than getting in the legal market. Just to let you guys know, when you go from a controlled clientele to any random asshole over the age of 81 can just walk in and ask questions, and they don't even have to buy anything. And you can't tell them just to get out. You'll see. It might not be the job for you if you've already been in it. If you worked at Walmart and you want to work around weed, that might be a good job for you. Food Network is putting out a new competition show with weed on it called Chop 420. People will be competing to make the best edibles. They're going to be hosted by old Ron Funches. I don't know how you pronounce his last name, but he's a funny comedian. Great comedian. He's got a podcast called Getting Better. Check it out on the YouTubes. You check her out on the YouTubes. If I was gonna guess, because I don't know anything about the Chop 420 yet. I don't know how the chop competition works. I'm sure if my wife was here, she could tell me all about it. I'm guessing they're gonna have to judge edibles. I mean, how would you do that? You eat one like, oh, this tastes good, but I don't really feel very high. 2 hours later,
You smoke too much sativa.
You're falling out. I feel bad for the judges if they got to try everybody's They got to try everybody's dishes, their edibles. It might be a little easier when they get the competition narrowed down to a couple people, but at first they got to try 12 different edibles. They're going to be
Herpes.
within a few hours after that. Be falling down. You're going to have the itis strong just falling right out. I can imagine some really, really strong edibles pretty much just have you like in a drunk stupor, just laying there like, those judges they're in for a treat. That's for sure. I've got stolen goods to report here. Stolen goods, people. If you've watched All Gas and No Brakes on YouTube and have become a fan of Andrew Callahan, he's the host, and his other crew, you're going to have to follow Andrew.me on Instagram. That's Andrew with 2 W's.me, and that's on Instagram because his show has been taken. Unfortunately, his production company that already was taking a majority of his earnings has fired him or let him go. I'm not sure what the debate was or the argument was, how they come to separate, but I know that if you're one of the 18,000 or 17,000 people who are on Patreon who followed All Gas and No Brakes, well, they don't have Andrew anymore. They don't have All Gas and No Brakes no more. They're pretty much just a name now. So if you haven't seen All Gas and No Brakes videos, you need to before you miss it. They're great videos of a independent journalist going out and seeing the world, going to some flat earth conventions, to some alien conventions. I think he went to the Storm Area 51. He went to Sturgis during the pandemic. He's got a lot of good videos. You should check out. Real funny stuff. Funny characters he meets in Florida. Definitely wild. If they were on Ancestry.com, I'd probably be cousins with them. You know, Andrew and his independent journalism, they're a big influence on me here on Black Market News and the things we talk about. You know, when I picture what this show could be or what I imagine if I could travel around from town to town, talking with black market vendors, you know, local areas, see how life is going, how their work is going. You know, if everyone didn't have broken thumbs and shared with everybody, I'm sure to have more people chime in and telling me, making the dream happen. Travel the world and be called Cousin Maskless. Oh, man. Got to give everybody a good chicken update. Finally finished the metal on the roof of the barn.
You don't see me making hippie hops about it.
Man, I'm done with that. Don't ever want to be up there on my knees again. There's a reason I don't work roofing, that's for sure. If you want to follow me on Harvey O Knows on Instagram or Harvey Comedy on Steam It, see some photos, you know what I'm talking about. Sometimes I post them on Facebook. Yeah, I got this metal roof done just in time for the perfect windstorm. It blew from about 25, 40 miles per hour out the south for a few hours and then changed and blew like 40 miles per hour out the west overnight. And now this morning it's blowing a good 20 or 30 out the northeast. So we've just had the wind coming from every way in the past 12 hours. And it was blowing so hard last night, there was snow coming down, but we couldn't even tell you if that was just snow falling or snow being blown off the top of the mountains. That's pretty much how hard it was blowing. Just like, oh, there's snow showing up, but the moon's out and there's no clouds, so who knows? I'll tell you one thing, making something completely square is a lot harder than it seems, especially when you have helpers that are inexperienced. They're helpful, but inexperienced doesn't make anything easier on someone who's semi-experienced. I finally finished that metal roof, and I had a custom designed shark tooth drip edge. Only when you hire Harvey O for a build. Nowhere else on earth will you get such shitty work and have it advertised and be shown to someone. You can tell them sheets on top, they're just a little crooked. They're a little off. They go a little bit to the side. Like I said, make that nice little shark tooth design on the drip edge in the back. Very, very on fleek. Like I said, but now with it finished, I just have flashing to do. I don't have to get on my knees anymore. You know, as big guys, we're not meant to be roofers, you know. better suited for driving lawnmowers or editing a podcast, something with less heights involved. If I fall in here, I trip on a wire, that's my fault.
You don't see me making hippie hops about it.
And let everybody know, crypto is going to save the world. Isn't it funny how the government say they will protect us from criminals and loss? Anytime something comes along that could show that they're being criminals, it becomes illegal. Who would have guessed? And countries are considering making cryptocurrency illegal. Some have already done so. Not only is crypto devaluing their currency, but it's a gateway to stopping government theft and secrets. Because with blockchain, all transactions are visible to everyone. Everybody can see. Everybody who is mining, who is a part of it, can see every transaction that's made every day. And even though there's not a name to every transaction, you could figure it out. And when something like a government, say, uses a stimulus package and they borrow $5,500 on every single person, and they only give the citizens $1,400 of that $5,500 they borrow on every person, if you wanted to really see where that other $4,100 each person goes to helping their country in some way, you could see it. You could see every account. Oh, well, they really sent, this trillion over here, a trillion over there. You don't, right now, all you have is belief. Even reporters, they can't, there's not CNN News or MSNBC. None of them can show me a bank transaction to any foreign aid from our stimulus package that was given to anyone. No one has any of that evidence. It's all belief. Nothing more than just straight belief. But that's why the blockchain is the shiznit. You for sure. You can have screenshot, of billions going to another country and no one can change it, if they had all the servers and information the same way, man, they wouldn't be able to censor us or manipulate any footage that they have out there or stop it. Because everybody would have a blockchain, or a good way to explain it to you. It's kind of like Napster, but every song you have on your computer. And that's why you get Bitcoin, or you earn money for mining and having all that information on your computer. Because when it comes to your computer, that's what they call mining. And you do your little flash screenshot of all the transactions of the day. You have it, and every single other person that's on the blockchain has it. And there's no way, if you got 1 million people out there trading on it, you have a million receipts. If one person tries to change it and manipulate it, you know it pretty soon. When they get taken out, it's automatically fixed. If I don't know, that's somewhere in the program, and I couldn't really tell you everything about how that programming works. But man, if the internet worked the same way, it'd be so much nicer. NASA would have to explain their science of past and present with footage that they produced, stuff that they put out there that contradicts a lot of their own official reports, and then they just delete it instead of ever explain it again. I don't understand how scientific that outcome is. My favorite clip, though, was deleted, was the Kennedy assassination clip. That was digitalized and clearly shown. That was a hoot. They had that for, 6 weeks up on YouTube back in 2010, 2008, somewhere around there. Whenever everybody got the easy technology to just take a VHS or old video and hit one button and bam, you got clear, digitized new video. And that went from being this old, blurry, black and white video to a colored, clear shot of a driver turning around shooting President Kennedy in the head, his wife jumping out the back, and the Secret Service man trying to shove her back in. And at the same exact time, the governor of Texas, or whatever was shot by Lee Harvey Oswald. You know, if you watch the movie Shooter with Marky Mark, you might get an idea of how they set that guy Lee Harvey Oswald up. It was a good movie.
You don't see me making hippie hops about it.
Either way, isn't it time we cancel Democrats or Republicans? Can we just cancel government and taxes altogether? Just think about all the assholes that want to stay home away from society. And they could if they didn't have taxes. They could stay home, self-sustain with their yard. And we got Pucker Poo chiming in. I'm guessing the neighbors are home. Shut up! No! No! Bad dog! Alright. Fucking the protector of the house here. And making sure no one gets us. Fucking dogs. I'm like saying, there's... Either way, isn't it time we cancel Democrats and Republicans? Can't we just cancel government and taxes? Just think about all the assholes who want to stay home. They don't want to come out, but they have to because they got to go to work and pay taxes on something. They could just stay home and grow tomato plants and wheat or something like they're in Farmville and play all by themselves and not have to deal with anybody. They have to work and pay for that house for some reason. Yeah, I've been thinking a lot about wills lately and what kind of stipulations have been conjured up while writing them. You see shows where people leave their millions to someone as long as they, live how they're instructed to. But I wonder how many wills have had like outrageous things like that written out on paper. Like who actually told the lawyer and said, paid them money per hour and said, write this down. And if you did, what would be your terms? If you had $100 million to leave, behind and have to make up 3 rules for the person inheriting it. Could be family or friend. You don't know yet. What are your demands for your cash? You're leaving your $100 million behind, but you have to make up 3 rules. It's the rules of the will. You can't have a will without it. What are going to be your 3 rules for your cash spending? Mine would be, number 1, no political backing or contributions. None at all. Good or bad, if I like them or dislike them. None. You lose all your money if you give any to them. And 2, I say you can't spend your money in any store that has a shut sign. You tell those tooth whistlers they should just stay shut. Then they can put a sign up that says, stuck shut. I ain't never seen such shit. You go to a place and they got a sign that says, shut. Like, you mean closed? You are closed for business? And then I think the third one is you can't give money to Walmart. If I give you $100 million, you can afford a co-op. A co-op, all organic, natural, bamboo fiber, toilet paper for your bunghole. You can get the raw, unsalted nuts from Whole Foods. If I give you $100 million, you don't need to be going to Walmart, saving. You got to go out there and spend that money. Yeah, that's a sign of a man of luxury, knowing he doesn't have to go to a Walmart or any store that has its own generic version of a product. Let's get to your worldwide weed price guide. First, we got Washington State, $5 to $10 a gram on the streets. We got California, around $15 to $25 a gram up north. A little cheaper, around $60 to $80 for quarters in the south. Say Oregon, they got $10 to $15 a gram in the black market. Vegas, same thing, $10 to $15 a gram. Colorado's coming in around $160 an ounce for some good homegrown. Thanks Hourglass 7200 on Reddit. Northern Texas is about $100 a quarter for nice flower, $225 an ounce for the mids. Madison, Wisconsin has $40 eighths, $225 to $300 for an ounce. They got Sticky Gorilla Glue number 4. Thanks Reddit user Wrinkled. Kentucky flower, $200 to $250 an ounce. Indiana, coming in $5 to $15 a gram. Illinois, eighths $25 to $60. Onions are 180 to 265. Thanks for all the listeners out there, mostly in Washington State, but a lot of people over there in the Midwest and all over in the Northeast starting to listen in, starting to catch on. I thank you all for sharing. Don't forget, send me a email at bmnpod@gmail.com. Let me know what your prices are you're paying. Kind of like a roundabout area. Don't tell me exactly where you live, but, let me know kind of a general area. Like, hey, I live near Chicago, or, I live in this county. Something like that. Don't get too direct with the information. Just direct with the prices and how good your nugs are looking. Virginia, they got $10 to $20 a gram, $240 to $300 an ounce. North Carolina, $15 to $25 a gram for flour, $30 to $50 a gram for oil. Georgia, they got quarters around $60 to $70. That's for Zaza. That's a good out there. Florida has quarters for around 80 to 140. So go to Georgia if you're close. Rhode Island, they got around 150 to 300 for an ounce. That's between the mid and the good. That good. Maine with $6 to $10 a gram. New York, $25 to $40 an eight. Jersey, they got some good concentrates around 200 a quarter. And someone says around $15 to $20 a gram for flowers. I said 200 a quarter for nice concentrates. I hope I got that right the first time.
You smoke too much sativa.
You might hear Sal chime in and yell at me once or twice for that, eh? Canada, $5 to $10 a gram. That's around Manitoba, Alberta area. Southern Ontario, around 100 and 130. That's for the street man. That's for the onions. But they got the good onions. Them good ounces out there in Ontario, bud. That should really knock you on your ass. That's for about $230 to $300 an ounce. You get that from the old guy online, Mr. Pluggy Craigslist. I don't know. Canada even have Craigslist? What do you guys use out there? Let me know. I'm sure they probably say on Letterkenny or some shit like that, but ain't nobody got time for that. Like I said, the internet plug in Ontario, that's where it is. Then we'll go over there to Europe. We got Spain. Thank you for the listeners in Spain and Portugal. Really appreciate you. Spain, around €5 a flour or hash. 5 to €8. 8 for that good amnesia. That's the killer stuff over there. I saw somebody say they could get some for $2 to $3 a gram in Portugal, so that's pretty cheap. They grow some good stuff over there along the Mediterranean. Macedonia and Skopje, flour between $2 to $6 a gram. We got Bucharest, Romania, 5 to €10 a gram. Bavaria, Germany, 10 to 15 for flour. We got Manchester, England, 10 to 20 for a gram. 140 to 210 for an ounce. Thanks, Reddit user James 85858. 8585858585858. What?
You don't see me making hippie hops about it.
Oslo, Norway. They got 8s for 60, but they say they're selling for 2.5 grams. I wonder if they've gotten past that yet or not. But hash is around $18 to $20 a gram. Poland, it's 40 zloty for some nice flowers. And then Ecuador, $20 for a quarter ounce. Jammu Kashmir, 1,000 to 3,000 rupees for a full chali. And that's 14 or 15 bucks, around $40 US. And that's a big corn husk filled with hash that's been cured in the ground. It's pretty good stuff, I would say. Southern India, they got some Reggie they call Indian green. That looks like it's about $4 for an 8. Milana, India, that's the hash capital of the world. They have the Milana cream. That's 15 to 25 for a gram. around 4,000 for a kilo. Russia, they got 2,000 for a gram, around 25 US for a gram of shishka. The shishka. Indonesia, it's highly illegal. You could get killed by police. So save that dry trip to sober up on and go to Indonesia. I don't think there's any alcohol allowed either. Very religious people. Keep your nose clean when you're out there. But thank you for all the downloads and listeners in Indonesia. You much appreciate it. Don't forget to share, like, let all your friends know. New Zealand, gram is around $20 for some good stuff. And let me know, if your area was not mentioned or you disagree with the reported prices, please send an email to bmnpod@gmail.com or message at bmnpod on Twitter. Help me keep the news up to date. MissFortuneCookie.ca, cookies with the jokes that make you laugh at yourself or others. They're fortune cookies dipped in chocolate with jokes that roast or make fun of certain subjects. You can make fun of the grocery store clerk. You can make fun of your nurse. Make fun of the doctor for sticking a needle in himself just because he wanted to steal your vaccine, a dirty little prick. Well, there's versions for adults and children, and whoever. It'll ship worldwide. That's MissFortuneCookies.ca. And on Instagram and Facebook, you can find them all over. Thank Miss Fortune Cookies for supporting the BMN podcast. You can contact Black Market News if you want to hear your business or organization being advertised on the show. It's bmnpod@gmail.com. That's Butter, Mecca, Norway, Peckerhead, Oral, Dentist @gmail.com. Got it. Over. Out. And thanks Ben Shapiro and Sal from the Hey Bay podcast and old Mike Malak. Everybody for his herpes sensor and everybody chiming in. This week's song is The Grid by UV Protection. Don't forget to hit that screen, like, follow, leave a nice review or comment so you don't hurt my feelings. If you're scared, say you're scared.
The grid is on, the grid is on, the grid is on. With helmet heads, with helmet heads, with helmet heads. We are fed, we are fed, we are fed. Do what is said, do what is said, do what is said. The grid is on, the grid is on, the grid is on. With helmet heads, with helmet heads, with helmet heads. We are fed, we are fed, we are fed. Do what is said, do what is said, do what is said.